startups, they are not local shops. You're building something that will hit the global market.
Like a good product gets you in the game, but a good brand helps you win it as well.
Panis Pieri is a disruptive Cypriot entrepreneur and media innovator, driving startup growth and tech progress through Panis News.
Banking here
Sucks. We need to focus for the future to be like a very good test hub or a launchpad for you.
What needs to be done to get us there then?
The universities now they're trying to change, to produce more graduates around STEM.
What sparked this fire for startups? Because it's not an easy path. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Made in Cyprus, big business story from a tiny island, or as you guys rebranded us, Mitsia Larutsi. This episode is long due because, this podcast is about the voices shaping the future of the brand of Cyprus, building the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We had founders, multiple founders, relokees. We had people that went abroad, came back, built something in here. People that are trying to really shape the future, not only from the financial and the business opportunity point of view, but from the whole ecosystem as well. And you cannot go into any startup conference, event, gathering, ecosystem happening, a boot camp, whatever, and not see Panis Pieri. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you.
You're a very busy man, because I'm not lying. Every single time I go somewhere that is connected to the startup ecosystem, to the future of Cyprus, there is a very, very high chance you're there.
Yes, okay. I mean, this is how we started when I started back 10 years ago, the first blog about startups. We had to do a lot of networking, meet the community. So actually in the past 10 years ago, there is a day that there was actually in 3 or 4 events in the same day.
Wow.
Now it's a bit slower, the things, because people have known the brand, have known my name. And so if they want something, they can find me online and drop me a message. This is also how we met.
Yeah.
Back on the days when you were launching Factory 39. And also when you started the podcast, we discussed, you told me the idea, and I loved it, and I told you start it, and it will go well. Your podcast is needed. I'm a guy that I believe the more the merrier.
Same.
Okay, I like quality also, but for me it's more about let's hack the feeds.
It's true. I think we need
because
we need
there is
voices.
so much noise there out there. So anyone is doing something and promoting Cyprus or the startup scene or writing, it's there. I mean, people will listen. They will find out.
Listen, Pani, I want to go back to the early days. I think it's fair to say people know pretty much what you do, and we will get into more details because I know you also have some new directions, some new adventures. But how did you get into this? And tell me a bit more about where you grew up, what were your passions, and what sparked this fire for startups? Because it's not an easy path.
Okay, the startup, it's my day-to-day job the last, from 2015 and after. But before that, I'm around 45 years old. I studied business and IT. I was always in technology. I had my first PC when I was actually 15, 16 years old. The internet was actually coming back then in 1995 in Cyprus. I was always into reading 2-3 stuff, technology, sports, and innovation. I like doing things in a unique way. So in the broad sense, innovation, this is what it is, innovation. If you take it, a huge pro.
You were born as a geek in a way.
Yes or no. I like to have friends, I mean.
No, not in a way of the lone wolf coder in a dark room. You always had a passion for technology.
I was not a geek with the sense that I was into a lot into programming. I'm like, because also my first jobs and when I worked for the corporate sector in the past, I was like a growth hacker. I was taking over the growth of the company, so I had to know how to code. I need to talk to the web developers in their language because they have their own language. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
I come from an entrepreneurial family that I want to always to have my own business or to work. The family business from my mother's side, Kiriakou Bookshops, I worked there when I was young, from 12-year-old. And actually, when I came back from my studies, I started working there.
Yeah.
After I moved into the digital marketing that I like, data-driven, back then was called e-business, if you remember, many years ago. At one point I had also my own independent media on the side as a side job. At one point, a friend, I helped one of the biggest sport media to launch in Cyprus, 24 Sports. It was actually the second media after Kirkidanet. The sport fans will know 24 Sports. I worked there for 6 months. We helped the owner launch it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had a nickname there. It was called Mentor because, the other journalists, I was also a journalist. I was writing about my football team and my club, Nea Salamina Famagusta. After that, I had also my own independent media about Nea Salamina Famagusta, 7,000 unique visitors per day, reading the news, etc. After that, a bit fintech, forex, and then around 2000, on the side, I did my own companies. They failed. Actually, I opened the first digital agency in Cyprus. I was trying to sell Google Ads in 2005 to companies in Cyprus. And then let's come to the last 10 years. The startup scenes, because as I have said in the beginning, I love to read about sports, tech, and innovation.
Yeah.
So I was reading TechCrunch from day one when it started in Silicon Valley. I always like to read the news from Silicon Valley, etc. That's pretty much my background. I went into full-time into media from 2014.
Yeah.
The last 10 years. And now we're coming to the now that we're bringing all this into one media. And the goal is with this media is to create also a global community around it. And if we manage in 10 years to be like one of the biggest media around startups and innovation in the world.
Yeah. So
that's the goal.
What's the relationship between media and startup then? Why do you think it's important that those two are tied together? Okay,
the big tech media out there usually they cover what is happening to the biggest companies.
Yeah, the usual suspects.
Yeah, what is happening? What I have seen, a few media. We have some media like in Europe, for example, Recursive. Shifted some other media that they're trying now to cover also the very early stage, but a lot of them they don't cover the very very early stage of these companies or the startup scene. This is the gap that we want to close. I think a startup needs when they launch a company, they need some promotion. They will need to tell their story somewhere. In a podcast, I have seen a lot of startups that they don't have the money, that they grow and they grew through their blog, their content, their organic stuff that they have done. So at one point you will need a journalist, you will need to tell your story in other media.
Yeah.
So you need to be prepared as a startup founder. It's something also that you need to build as a skill to be able to communicate effectively your story. To some people.
Let's get into that storytelling and the ability to communicate your story. First of all, why do you think it's important that this startup share their story externally?
In the startup world, a lot of parts. Okay, I think 2-3 parts are the elements of success: a good team, a good product. Good product. When I say good product, good UX, and then you have the branding that will happen through. Usually, the branding comes through the founder. Okay, you can brand also better than that. You can brand, the name of the company, etc. But if also the founder does not have his own personal branding and be like an expert in his field.
At the beginning, especially, right? The founder story is one with the company story.
Yeah, because at the beginning, okay, we are in an industry that you need to do a lot of networking. Either that is, behind closed doors, that again is networking, or either publicly.
Yeah.
You need to attend a lot of events, meet investors. Investors, they like to meet people in person. They don't like to, a lot the online stuff. So you need to be out there. In an industry that you have to meet investors to get funding, especially in the beginning, you don't have anything else. You have your team.
Yeah.
So you need to show that actually team will make it in 3-5 years.
Yeah.
The first beginning, you don't have. Okay, you might have a small traction, a good product, but also one of the factors that an investor will give you money is what is happening in your team. Who is it? Your advisors.
Yeah.
That's if they have experience, if they have built in the past, a company that exited.
Yeah.
It's like a fixed game. It's not like a normal business. Okay, I will do bootstrap, I will do sales, I will do. Yeah. There is some different,
Yeah, I love what you said. Team, product, and brand. And I think the last element of brand is constantly evolving and growing. And I like to say, based on research and the work that we're doing now, that like a good product gets you in the game, but a good brand helps you win it as well. Because there are so many situations now where the product and the features are very similar, but we decide to go with one brand versus the other, right? The perception, the story, what people feel interacting with that company as well. And you said as well, even investors, they want to have a perception, a feeling of a future potential that might not be yet there. It's a trust, ultimately, right? So they need to be able to trust this company.
Yeah, okay. As you know better than me, having a nice brand, it's like a trust factor.
Yeah.
But of course, would I say, okay, you can pay someone or find the nice ideas, build a brand, etc. But again, if you don't have the product,
you're
just
wasting time.
In long term, it will backfire.
Listen, like you cannot polish a turd, right? A turd stays a turd, even if it's.
They need to work, I think, inline. That's why also we have seen big companies like Apple that they were more focused on the branding.
Yeah.
But in the beginning they had also the product. They innovate a lot.
Yeah.
Together with the trust signal from the brand. That's why they built this big brand right now.
Yeah. Listen, Pani, like you've been involved in this ecosystem since its infancy, right? Since the earliest stage. How was it 10 years ago? How is it now? What changed? What didn't change?
Actually, the ecosystem started around 2011, 12. We had Hack Cyprus, Cypriot Enterprise Link. They were doing some stuff. We have the Cyprus Commercial Society that was focused on education of IT. Then some other events came like Startup Weekend, Startup Live, etc. And we started our first blog around that time, around 2013-14, after we attended an event, Startup Live.
There were no Russians or Israelis back then. It was a very much smaller community. Yeah.
There was a bit, not so many as it is now. I mean, the expat, let's say, the whole expat community. I don't want to define Russians, Israelis. I mean, let's call it the whole expat community. Very few. It was mostly the events were attended by Cypriots. This thing started booming after the 2013 haircut. That the mindset of the country changed a bit from having a job in the government. Everybody was trying to get a job in the government after the 2013 haircut. People, they understand what entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
Actually, that thing, adversity, helped the ecosystem born.
It was after the 2008. And
between 2013 and 2015, when I launched also Disrupt Cyprus, we had like maybe 10 events around Cyprus about startups, entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost every day. But we are missing key elements of the whole puzzle. Like the government was not there, the venture capital world was not there, the investors, very few. Like for example, Panis Gravity, when they launched, they were there, and some other few. Cyprus, for example, when it started and funded some of these startups in the beginning. Now we are entering after 2021. I believe we are starting to enter the second decade of this ecosystem. Due to the geopolitics that we have around in Cyprus, we have seen the last acceleration, what is happening with the ICT sector. Of course, the ICT sector of Cyprus is like 30, 40 years old. I mean, big IT companies that were helping companies to digitalize.
Yeah.
But all of these companies, usually they were taking already technologies, they were good integrators, and they are good, until today, they are good salesmen. I mean,
Not necessarily innovators.
there is companies, huge companies like Logicom, and they sell now 1 billion in services of IT. And they sell it also in Middle East, outside of Cyprus. Cyprus, I would say, they are very good sales people. And this is the mindset that also with different initiatives and all of the people, the universities now, they're trying to change, to go into to produce more graduates around STEM. We have also a lot of expats now, the last 3, 4, 5 years, the acceleration of this to the geopolitics, some incentives that the government gave. Maybe we can discuss about that later. I mean, all this now, there is a bit contribution also to the GDP. But of course, this accelerated growth, as you know, you live in Limassol, it created a lot of other challenges and problems in the society. And,
I mean, cost of living of Limassol is absolutely ridiculous.
This is what happened also in Dublin when Google went, Amazon and other big tech companies. It happened elsewhere also in the this increase of, because you have the people, expats that are coming with better salaries than the locals, so they can afford to buy something in a house. You have a lot of people incoming to a city.
Yeah.
They're looking to find rent. They cannot find.
Yeah.
I mean, Cyprus was not, infrastructure-wise, Cyprus was not ready.
No, I think
to handle all this influx. I mean, Limassol became from 200,000, 100,000 people now. Maybe it's like double the.
Yeah.
I mean, in like 3-4 years, you cannot handle.
Yeah, listen. Like I think when Limassol cost of living prices starts to get closer to those hubs that you mentioned, London, Dublin, and everything, but there is none of the infrastructure. That's where the problem is, right? So I think if you live in London and Dublin and whatever else, Berlin, there is a higher cost of living, bigger opportunities, and a perfect infrastructure as well. Like here, Limassol was not built for that. So it's much challenging, and I guess it's challenging for established businesses. I cannot imagine how challenging would it be for startups, cash poor businesses.
No, it's difficult. I mean, the early stage startups, it's difficult to launch now in Cyprus. What I expect at least in the next 5-10 years, we have these big IT companies, they came. I believe there will be like a spillover effect. A lot of these people will leave this company, will start their own, some smaller. Yeah. But we need to strengthen the community and the government and everybody. We need to strengthen more the early stage.
Yeah. So
early stage, I mean, the companies that they want to open here, stay to test their product in Cyprus maybe, then launch in UK or USA. I mean, Cyprus, I think, and for me, that should be the sustainable vision of this ecosystem, to focus on, to be a test hub for smaller startups. We need to do a lot of stuff to get there, but for me, that should be the vision that we are projecting. It's good to invite big IT companies, have headquarters, have people, but I believe in order for this to be sustainable, because we have seen some companies big now, they want to leave Cyprus. The first signs are there. We need to focus for the future to be like a very good test hub or a launchpad for Europe.
Yeah. What needs to be done to get us there then?
There are a few things. Of course, you need to fix the infrastructure of the island in terms of politics. You need the government to move faster in digitalization, to become more digitalized as a government. That's the things from there that we need to, in terms of government. In terms of the ecosystem, we need the big companies here to start investing and building R&D centers so they can innovate and put money on innovation through their own corporate R&Ds. That is missing. It's an element that is missing. We need to connect and better the universities. Hopefully the spin-off law will pass in the next 12 months. That is actually in the last months, the spin-off law was passed from the legal, etc., and we're waiting for the government to start the discussion in the parliament.
What is this spin-off law?
The spin-off law will be able to clarify the framework when a university does research, a lab does research and wants to commercialize it. What is the rules, what etc. And now we have like 3 paragraphs in the state university law, and now we introduce the last 2-3 years, the Research Innovation Foundation brings some experts from Oxford, from big places that have done this. They had a lot of meetings, also with the past auditor of the government, the universities, and they have made like a more complete framework. Actually, that was introduced last year from the government. It passed all the legal, nonsense through the Attorney General, and now we're waiting for the president of the committee because it will go under the law of the universities and education in the parliament. So we're waiting for that to get into the discussion and the parliament to start discussion if we want to commercialize knowledge. And that's another huge discussion that might take another, as far as my personal, at least sources, is that a lot of members of the parliament, they don't even want to discuss about this. They don't think that we need to commercialize knowledge. They think like that's very bad.
It's fascinating because
we can do a podcast only for that.
Basically, it's trying to close the gap between academia and commercialization.
Yeah, we have seen that the Greece in 2-3 years ago, they did like a whole spin-off for spin-offs that they're coming from universities. Because also Greece and Cyprus, we have a lot of world-class knowledge producing now, at least in our state universities and other universities. Have very world-class researchers that they want to take this research, turn it into a product. And in Greece, 2-3 years that this law was passed from the government, it increased a lot the spin-offs numbers that are coming out of the universities.
I mean, it makes sense, isn't it? You have great people, great resources, great research. Don't commercialize it and make it into something tangible, right? Otherwise, it stays in the books.
If you see all the big, a lot of the big companies out there, tech companies, they came through research.
Yeah.
That research might be also university-based, or the founder did research for 2-3 years before, and then they launched something. A big portion out of this, it's innovation that is coming through research-led stuff. If you take also health, biotech, all this trendy now that biotech is a trendy industry worldwide, all this comes through research.
But I think biotech is one of the key ones that always, basically, most of the times comes out of uni, isn't it?
And it takes years to mature.
Yeah. So you said, let's make Cyprus, the perfect sandbox for early startup and launching startup. You mentioned infrastructure, you mentioned government, you mentioned university. What else needs to happen there?
The other thing that we need to do as founders, also entrepreneurs, is the mindset. We need to start changing our own mindset. startups, they are not local shops. You're building something that will hit the global markets eventually at one point. So from day one, you need to start thinking global. You shouldn't afraid competition in a global level. And Cyprus, within a lot of routine, how you say it, it doesn't. A company can come from Cyprus, become an international company. We have examples on that. If that is owned by expats, etc. I mean, in 2012, TechCrunch was writing about Viper, that it was a company having also some operations here. The holding company was here, and was bought 900 million from Rakuten. So it doesn't. I mean, and now the whole thing with the work, you can have employees here, you can have elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we need to think big. As entrepreneurs, we shouldn't afraid competition, and go out there and build global startups.
Yeah. Another interesting thing that I notice about Cyprus, and I want to pick your brain on it, because I've been in Cyprus for like almost 8 years now, and it's a very small place, right? I mean, most of Cyprus could be fit in terms of population on medium-sized cities in Europe. There is a lot of fragmentation, though. There are things happening in Nicosia, they stay in Nicosia, things happening in Limassol, they stay in Limassol, things happening in Paphos, they stay in Paphos, acceleration programs, coaching initiatives, event, yalla yalla yalla. And I feel like there isn't much coming together and kind of collaborating. And I see from the business perspective as well, sometimes organizations and brands that could leverage collaboration to help each other, they are not. They are afraid. There is a big focus on the wrong C, which is competition, instead of on the collaboration. Would you say it's fair, or what is your point of view on this?
Actually, my point of view was formed by I interviewed a guy that was one of the first that they built the Israeli ecosystem.
Yeah,
they had the same problem in the beginning. All the ecosystem, they have this fragmentation problem. There is two ways, and I agree with him, and this is something I'm using and actually shape my own also. There is two things to do when you have fragmentation. Either you are growing a lot of fragmented pieces, so when they will grow and they will spill over each other part.
Cannibalize in a way as well.
Yeah, not cannibalize. Yeah, maybe cannibalize and interact while they're growing. And that's why in terms of cities, we need to grow cities with specific. For example, Nicosia has the universities. And this is what also I told the mayor that is right now in a meeting that we did before he was going to elect a mayor. I told him that, I told Burgos that you need to focus around universities and build a startup ecosystem. If you try to compete Limassol is too far now in specific sectors. Limassol has shipping, IT, all this other stuff, fintech. You will not manage. I mean, don't try to compete each other.
Yeah.
Try to see your own as a city, as an area, as a local ecosystem. To see your own strengths. And build on that. Limassol does not have university. Okay, we have the Cyprus University of Technology, but we see also with that problem now with the students living in the city because the rents are high. We don't have the university power that the Nicosia has. We have other stuff. We have the sea, we have the lifestyle, we have other stuff that we can project as the Limassol. And all of these expats, they came to Limassol at first because it's a nice sea, a nice environment that they cannot, you cannot find sea in Nicosia.
No, and also the fintech companies are here. I think like...
the Forex sector was developed here, and then fintech came along to help these Forex companies to grow because it's their problems. They provide solutions to them. And you have a lot of shipping companies in Limassol that you need to actually start innovating with them. And actually, I plan to write an article about this. The shipping companies are doing a lot of innovation. And you need to focus more on maritime clean tech solutions around there for Limassol. The one thing is this: you fight fragmentation and you solve it like this.
Each element of the fragmentation.
In Israel, they have something else, and I think that comes also from their DNA. They try to collaborate in a global level, all of them.
Yeah, it comes from their mindset.
I believe it's their mindset. The Greek mindset, don't get me wrong, the Cypriot mindset is different. They like to compete each other instead of working together.
I agree.
The Israelis, I have tried to work with Israelis, and they told me, okay, first I will find, if I cannot find somebody, an Israeli to offer me this service, I have planned answers like this from them.
Same here. When two Israeli meet, they say, let's help each other. Right?
Yeah.
We're part of the same global
community. And I believe
community.
that came with the whole history of Israel and
1000%.
etc. Our history, okay, you take also ancient Greece, etc. We like to invent stuff. The Greeks invented democracy and other stuff. We are, I think, the Greeks and Cypriot, they are in their blood, they are innovators.
But also competitors.
Yeah, and also competitors. And okay, we have some other bad traits, but I don't want to mention. In general, I mean, this is how we need to find fragmentation. When you start, the other fragmented thing, very quick, is that we have a more advanced ecosystem of startups from the expat side. And the local side, let's say, is not so mature enough to actually also a lot of people, expats that I meet, they want to open a global company. That's their goal from day one. When I meet some locals, some Cypriots, they're thinking, okay, I will find funding from Cypriot, from Greeks. You can find funding from anywhere in the world. Money. If you have a good product and a global product, you can find money from anywhere in the world. Don't commit yourself finding money from Cypriots only or Greeks, or you can apply to Y Combinator, you can apply to so many global funding platforms out there. Especially if you have a good product. I mean, a lot of people, but of course, the other thing that I have seen is that a lot of venture capital funds, they prefer to, if the founders or partners are from a specific country, they prefer to invest in that specific country. Or if I have seen very few Russian VC funds, Russian-owned VC funds, or Belarusian or Russia-speaking, let's say, funds, the owners are here, that they invested in a Cypriot founder. Usually they invest in a team that has at least one of the founders is from their country.
The cultural
factor. That's the let's say, if you accept, the biggest VCs in the world like Sequoia Capital or others, so SV and others, the more local, driven funds, they would love to have somebody that actually speaks their language, their local language. My advice, if you want to get money out of all these Russian funds that are based here, etc., try to have a co-founder that speaks at least the language.
Go find a Russian speaker.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's another thing that if you want, we can discuss, is the diversity of the team. The diversity of the team, I have seen teams that the founders come from different cultures. They're actually more resilient when they build something, instead of having founders that they come, from one country.
Yeah. Actually, I think
that's my personal experience also with companies that I work.
No, I agree. I agree. Like, I think we also have the same mentality when we go to hiring. I grew up in Italy, but I grew up in Venice, right? Which is an island with one connection point to the land, right? And even in Venice, I have friends that almost never left, and there is a such thing called the island mentality, right? Where your horizons are defined by the confine of the perimeter of the place you live. Cyprus is small. I think the best advice we can give to young entrepreneurs in Cyprus is just go live abroad as well. Go and see what's going on in the hubs and mix yourself, meet with people, and that's also the beauty of Cyprus, right? Historically, it's an extremely mixed a genetic framework, let's say, right? There has been a bit of everyone in Cyprus, and I think that's the richness as well, the diversity. If you want to be an entrepreneur that plays on a global scale, and you were lived all your life in Cyprus, I think mindset-wise you will already struggle.
In general, Cyprus, it was always a connecting point.
Yeah.
Geographically, it's a connecting point
Yeah.
between Middle East, Africa, and Europe.
Yeah.
That will not change.
No, you cannot move the island.
in 10,000 years, okay, I don't know what happened. Maybe a big eruption and the island goes away with the climate change. But this didn't change throughout the year. In the old ages, if you see the history, you have ships coming here, stop from all over the world, going to Europe, between Africa. We are a connection point, and that's actually our strength, even though we're middle, and this is where we can build.
Connection point and lifestyle. I think it's priceless. You know, if you can live in Cyprus, work globally, and have the ability to travel, I think it's one of the best places in the world. Right? It's safe, it's secure. The people are nice, great food, great weather. It's very predictable as well in terms of what's going on. It's a really, really good place. Pani, practically wise, you meet a lot of founders, you see a lot of stories, you see stories international, you see stories locally, and if and I know we have founders and we have entrepreneurs listening, what is the things that you notice the most that keep happening in terms of when launching a startup, when creating a startup? Like, what will be your top 5 tips for them in order to avoid them from making the usual mistakes that you see keep happening?
Build a great team. That's the first thing.
Which is another challenge in Cyprus now.
Yeah, now people can work from anywhere in the world, so you can have a great team and be around the world and doing stuff.
So remote global team is
for
okay.
example, if you have a CTO that will work in their PC, coding and doing stuff, you don't need him here.
Yeah, he can be from Timbuktu.
He can be anywhere in the world, especially if you want to raise money from investors and you want maybe a CTO that worked in Google or somebody. Yeah. I mean, somebody with also a track record. Well, in your team, had experience also. That's very. I don't say that all the founders need to be, but at least one of the founders needs to have an industry experience of what you are building. Also, add young people and energetic and etc. In your product, focus on UX and UI. It shows that if you make your customer experience great, then etc.
1000%. I think it's a given.
The third most important thing: solve a real problem that you might have. Maybe a simple problem that you have, like 2-3 million people will have it around the world.
So it's something niche.
So you always start from niche, and actually solving a problem. A problem actually that somebody is willing to pay. Because you might solve a problem that somebody might not be willing to pay. So you will not have a business.
In that case, it's a hobby.
Actually, 2 things sell. The one is this, and the other is entertainment.
Yeah. Problems or convenience, right? So even if you're not if you're solving someone's problem that was already being solved, but it's much faster, much more convenient. Busy people tend to pay for convenience as well. Just do it for me or do it faster. So that doesn't have to be necessarily
And my last tip is build global from day one, especially if you want to build. I mean, it's better to fail fast and move to another project or something else than start building small, and then you will not be able to scale your product.
Panis, before we go, what are you up to now? Tell us what are you involved. Tell us what's going on in the community. If there is anything that people should know.
Actually, the Cyprus is growing. That's a fact. The Cyprus startup ecosystem is growing. Where we will land in the next 5-10 years, time will tell. In terms of what we are building, we have launched a global startup innovation media. We want to create also a community around it that this community will be helping people to create new startups from all over the world. To give different other facilities, staffs, and resources under this community. Cyprus has potential. We need to align everything almost also with the local society here. Not only the local, I mean all the people that they live here. Because even expats now, especially in Limassol, they find everything that is expensive. So they will probably start thinking to move or go to another city in Cyprus that is cheaper or etc. I mean, always try to. If you are building a startup, try always to innovate. Don't build something that other people are doing. Try to innovate with your own way, a better way. That's pretty much.
And have fun. Why not?
I mean, have fun. You need to have fun with everything that you do.
Otherwise, just go and be employed somewhere and just do it as a work.
Actually, we need also. I mean, companies will need employee. Hopefully, with the AI stuff and the tsunami that is coming, they will need employees. The companies, even if you are employing the company, try to find a company that actually creates fun for you.
It allows you to build stuff, allows you to be yourself. I think what I meant is that like we spend so much time at work, more than with our families. It might as well be enjoyable, isn't it?
But I think globally now it's the best time to create something on your own. Even if you cannot create, if you don't have the funds to create it, find a job and do it in the side in the beginning. A lot of people, they say in the startup world that fast is good, etc. But I will say that fast is relative.
I like
when
it
you're
steady.
Building,
I like steady.
When you're building something, we have seen big companies grow very fast and tumble very fast. So fast is always relative. I would say try to build stuff on your own, bootstrap stuff in the beginning, and then try to approach investors. A lot of people, they try to approach investors from idea stage, and even if you find somebody that will will invest in you, then it will take a big chunk of your investment, and
you're tied up after. No, it's a relationship.
It's very so. Try to approach investors when you actually need them, either to grow or either you will need money for further development and marketing, etc.
Panis, finish these sentences in one word or less. The first thing that comes into mind. Okay. Startups in Cyprus are? Yes. Banking here is?
Sucks.
Panis News will be?
Hopefully one of the biggest startup media in the world in a few years.
Awesome. Cyprus in 2035 is?
2035?
No.
A better place.
Yes, mate. Where can people connect you? Where are the most active? How can they reach out to you?
They can find me in social media, LinkedIn, I'm more active, or they can search for panis.news, can contact us there. I'm pretty reachable. I will see.
Bomba. Or in any other of events of the ecosystem with a high chance of seeing Panis there.
Yeah, or events, or ask Martin here can give you my details.
Will do. Guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode and see you next time. Bye.